Good morning and good afternoon, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the LeadForward Summit 2026. And my name is Netaji Kapoorpu, and I will be your session moderator for this session. I'm a mentor volunteer in the mentoring club. We are thrilled to have you join us for this exciting event dedicated to honoring leaders in motion and purpose. And now I'm going to the some housekeeping rules for this chat is disabled, so we all get to focus on speaker stories. Please put your questions into Q&A section. We will review them and direct them to our speakers later. Depending on the time, we can ask you to enable your audio to ask your questions to the panel speakers. Now, next going to the panel discussion session, and this session is Future Forward Mentoring in the Age of AI and Emerging Technologies. Now, let me introduce the panel speakers and moderator. Now, to guide us through discussion, I would like to introduce our panel speakers and panel moderator, Daniel, Kelsey, Anaka, Latif, Chloe, Maria. Okay, Maria, the floor is yours to invite our speakers for their introductions.
Thank you so much, and welcome everyone. I'm excited to be moderating this session today, and thank you for the Mentoring Club for hosting this Future Forward Summit. We appreciate to be here, and yeah. So what I will do is just everyone on the panel just also give a brief introduction of themselves. So my name is Maria Pinar. I'm a founder of ScaleSpark.ai, where we enable companies to run their businesses smoother by helping to build out their business infrastructure. I'm also an investor, and I've had numerous roles. I'm an engineer myself, so I do come from a technical background, and had the privilege of having a number of great mentors and coaches in my life throughout my career, and also hoping to give back and mentoring a lot of others as well. So I will just go and ask maybe Daniel and Latif, why don't you guys start as well? Brief introduction of yourselves.
Sure, I can go first. Thanks so much. Hi, everyone. My name is Daniel. I work at OpenAI, where I spend most of my time with companies, helping them realize value with our technology. My job is to help teams build reliable workflows, deploy them safely, and also change how they work in their organizations.
I'll go next. My name is Latif Mirza. Daniel's actually my eldest son. I've got four kids in total, a daughter and three sons. I'm also a CTO with international experience in IT leadership, change and transformation. I'm passionate about giving back, and mentoring is a big part of how I do that as a volunteer mentor. And also, I mentioned already, I'm a father, and I see parenting as the ultimate leadership challenge. And there's lots of synergies between mentoring and parenting. Something that's important to me is mentoring is never one way. So I learn as much and sometimes more than I contribute. Definitely from my kids and definitely from my mentees. I'm learning all the time. The best leaders don't just guide others; they learn from them as well, and that's something I'm very open to.
Thank you. And why don't we go then next with Chloe and Alicia?
Thank you, Maria. I'm Chloe Wang. I'm the STSM, stand for Senior Technical Staff Member and Manager at IBM. I work in the CIO Operational Data Platform, leading the AI enablement team to build the best-in-class digital and AI-first experience for IBMers. I'm passionate about AI, Gen AI, and mentoring. I'm so excited to be here to discuss the mentoring in the age of the AI and emerging technologies. Hand over to you, Kelsey.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kelsey Bradford, and I'm a data scientist also at IBM on the data platform team, AI enablement specifically. I work with Chloe, and Chloe has been such an inspiration to me because her career is so dignified and she's accomplished so much in her technical background. And I really do look up to her, and she's been such a great leader.
Thank you. And then Alisa and Anaga.
Thank you. My name is Alyssa Whitwell, and I'm currently in engineering leadership at a public value-based care company called Astrana Health. It's based in LA. I have about 15 years of working experience across a lot of healthcare verticals in the United States. And I switched from consulting to data science, and then software engineering, and now leadership. I've been very fortunate to have a lot of really great mentors throughout my life, and I've really benefited from that. And I was encouraged by a mentor of mine to mentor others. And Anaga was my first mentee as a software engineer. And I had been a software engineer for, I think, a year, and I was terrified and I thought I couldn't teach her anything. And she was the most perfect mentee to have. And I completely agree with the sentiment that mentoring is like a two-way street. I learn as much from her as I hope she learns from me. And so very grateful to be here.
Wonderful. Thank you. And as we said, this session is really about Lead Forward and how AI is impacting our lives and our career lives, as well as how we look at mentoring. So I must admit, this is the fastest technology transformation I have experienced in my life. I don't know, Latif. As I say, every single day I wake up, either my mind's completely blown or I'm very inspired. So it's rewriting how we look at business. It's rewriting job descriptions. It's completely rewriting entire industries in the, as I say, the good, bad, and ugly, and even how we think about expertise. But there's also a bit of an irony in the age of AI, human connection has never been more challenged or matters more. And this is also where I think a mentee-mentor relationship can play very strong. So before we dive in deeper, I think just around the table, in one sentence each, what's the one thing you think AI cannot replace in a mentoring relationship?
Let me kick off. So I think that asking questions is really important, and AI can answer questions rapidly, but it doesn't necessarily know the questions to ask. And I think as a mentor, mostly I'm asking questions. I'm guiding through questioning and listening, and that's something that's always going to be there.
Microsoft, I work on Fabric Graph, and I used to be a software engineer previously. In terms of what is something that AI cannot replace, I think AI really helps with execution, but I think mentorship would help with discernment. I think that would be hard to figure out with just AI.
I can go next. I think AI provides like knowledge instantly, but it cannot replace the softer skills and the human interaction. So we always do the mentoring by reading what you're feeling and what like between the lines to catch some small emotions when we have the human interaction. So that cannot be replaced by AI. So it's very important to have a mentorship through your career.
Thank you.
I think that we know now humans are wired for connection with other people. And I think AI will never replace the attention that you receive from another human being who values your experience.
Kelsey and Daniel, anything else to add to that?
I would probably say just personal experience. AI can tell you what a software engineer is like, but it will never be able to give you that real experience of a real software engineer because at the end of the day, it only has, data based on what it's learned, but it doesn't have that, human side of that experience.
To echo the themes that a lot of other people have already said, I think human connection is something that's weirdly the most thing that's most challenged right now. And I think the one thing AI can't truly replace in mentorship is this human connection and trust. AI can give you advice, it can generate opinions, it can coach you through a situation, it can act as if it's like a friend or a close personal relation. But it can't replace like trust that is earned over time through mentorship relations. When someone knows, your context and like like deep details about your personal situation and your unique values and can kind of say difficult things to you when you need to hear them.
Let's maybe also set a context, because I'd love to also hear a little bit more how the six of you connected with one another. Now, I'll start with Alicia and Anaga. So, Alicia, you started as a technical mentor back in 2017 when this landscape was still pretty young in the AI side. How has your mentor, so first of all, how did you guys connect? And then how has this AI changed the what you're mentoring your mentees on?
Yeah, so we were both working at startups that were funded by the same VC, first round capital. And so we were set up through a very formal program, and we had a 3-month window where they were formally, supporting the relationship. And then we decided to continue ever since. So it's been quite a long time. I think it's been interesting because everyone that I meet and everyone that I mentor is affected by AI in some capacity. Annika has worked directly on AI products for Microsoft. And then on my side, I work in healthcare, but we want to use AI to streamline and optimize and cut down on the administrative burden that our clinical folks experience. And then we also have to mitigate, like, AI is not going to give you medical recommendations and things like that. So there's a safety aspect. And so Annika is working directly on the solutions, and I kind of like consume it and use it to improve what we're using in the healthcare space. And then I think that there's a component of being absolutely terrified that it's going to replace you. And when you mentor, you're reassuring people you still have to develop critical thinking skills. It's more about the human connections that you build at work, like the clinical operations team that I work with. A lot of it is building a rapport where they trust me to tell me what the problems actually are so we can find the right solution. And then not just blindly accepting responses from AI or something like that, or thinking it's a magical solution, silver bullet, something like that, golden bullet. I'm not sure. Annika, I'm curious what you think.
I think AI has definitely made things faster in terms of like for us to be able to get things done. But there are a lot of components that I think you still need humans to ensure that things happen, or to just like work with people and decide what the right solution is. Like a solution is different from the right solution.
Thank you. And then Chloe and Kelsey, I know Kelsey, you walked into a internship and you wanted to learn AI. So, and one of the things I admire, Chloe, is you didn't hand her a reading list, you threw her straight into a project. So what made you do that, and how has that helped you, Kelsey, really accelerate in understanding this new environment and also navigate the internal conversations within the organization?
I think one thing that really stood out to me, like you said, is when I first started my internship at IBM, Chloe asked me, she's like, what do you want out of this experience and what do you want to learn? Usually at most internships, managers will just kind of assign you on a random project and you work for it. You work on that project the whole summer. But what's unique about an internship experience is this is really your time to kind of learn what you want and use this time to see if a topic you like actually resonates with you. Because in college, we take these classes, but we don't have real experience working on a development team. So I think that's something that really stood out to me. I told Chloe that I wanted to learn more about Gen AI. So I got the great opportunity to work with the IBM research team, and I worked on something called nested tool function calls. So usually tool function calls are pretty common. So that's when you ask an LLM something and it gets that data from an API. But there's not a lot of research on the nested functions and using inputs from one response to get a whole nested answer. So that's something I worked on. In addition to that, I think something that Chloe stressed to me is always learn. And even, simple things like laying graph, laying chain, things I kind of learned about in college, but I didn't have like real experience on. I spent my whole summer not just working on a project, but also learning skills. And all these skills have been so helpful because, now I've returned and we use all these things. So yeah, I'm just very fortunate that this experience was really great. And I think, mentoring wise, she consistently, checked in on me, asked me what I, needed, what I wanted to learn more, if there's things that I didn't learn that I wanted to know more about, and even just connecting me with other individuals at the company who knew about things. So, yeah.
I want to add one point. As like a couple of panel discussion already mentioned, this is like the mentorship is two-way learning. I always learn from Kelsey too. So I think I learned from her about like the new generation and what they're curious about, what they're passionate about, and sometimes just today, Kelsey, we have this 101 this afternoon talking about project. In my mind, I'm always thinking we need to deliver all the features, but we have some technical challenges. Kelsey just like have I think a pretty good idea is why not just like focus what this product can do versus cannot do. So I think that's a kind of brand new way to think about like it's not saying I don't know this, but just sometimes I feel like I have the pressure to deliver 100%. But talking to the junior team member and learn from them instead of like push ourselves too hard, we have like step-by-step strategy. So I'm very happy to have Kelsey. So we like learn from each other. It's not only one way. I'm really happy to have her like 2 years ago and join IBM last year. We started like working on the Gen AI use case a lot and keep learning. It's always for everyone. I doing that too. So I think that's good for everybody. Pick up that this new age of AI, you cannot just do whatever you already know or experienced. So everything, just Maria, you said every day we woke up and something is blowing our mind or get us excited. So that's the new reality. So I'm happy to work with mentee, and sometimes I really appreciate to be the mentee of my kind of, you're the mentor sometimes to me, Kelsey.
Yeah. And I think a key part that you're mentioning there is as well. I mean, I always say AI is a team sport, right? It's not something you should be doing in isolation, because you always learn from others around different perspectives when you utilize the AI. Just a quick question. So within IBM, is there a structured program that you signed up for, and how you got matched? Is that how you guys discovered one another, or was it more different curiosity aspects that you were looking at?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, I think from like manager point of view, we have like openings for intern, match the major, and we have the job title. I think Kelsey has the second degree, or she has two, but I don't know which one. But one of them is data scientist, so that perfectly matching the job description I have for internship. So go ahead, Kelsey. You can share your experience.
I was saying, I think, how they do it at IBM, they have like actually a couple different mentor programs, even outside of, finding your own mentor. When you join, you're assigned, a buddy too, usually in your office, usually someone a little closer in age to you so that you can kind of understand things. But, while we're on this topic of mentoring, I feel like in life, we need different mentors for different things. So there's not in my opinion, I don't think there's a one mentor fits all, but there's different mentors that will teach you different things.
Coming back to you now, Latif and Danielle. So Latif, so this is unique for me to see a father-son mentoring relationship.
Yeah,
And I know
I mean,
you're pretty passionate about parenting and parenting with purpose. So how did that start, where the relationship from parent moved to mentoring?
I mean, even before I had children, I was still mentoring young people and candidates because for me, it's part of giving back and giving back to the community. So I was doing that anyway. And then obviously once the kids arrived and obviously I started mentoring the kids. Didn't really call it mentoring, it was just parenting. But the kind of things I tried to instill in the children came from my father as well. That was strong values was what was most important, like honesty, integrity, resilience. That for me was fundamental. And then the other thing I got from my father, which I tried to pass on to my kids, is level of learning because we've been through many transformations, technical transformations in my career. And for me, AI is just another technical transformation, maybe the biggest ever that I will see in my career. It's huge, but it's still just transformation, and the only constant is change. I know that's a bit of a cliche, but it's true. If you can learn quickly and adapt to change, that is probably the skill that's going to endure and take you through this transformation as well as other ones in the future.
Danielle, when did that shift happen for you from being
Yeah,
being
I
your
mean,
dad as a mentor?
on the question of, when the parental relationship shifted to a mentorship one, I mean, yeah, my first meeting with my dad was quite interesting. It was pretty intense, popped out sort of unannounced, completely unprepared. And I think he's been helping me troubleshoot my life since the beginning. So for me, it wasn't really a hard shift, that I noticed or felt. I
Hmm.
think my dad has been my original mentor. All the values like resilience, doing the hard things in the right way. Um, I kind of like had instilled in me growing up. And now, like interesting kind of theme here is that it's a little bit flipped. I'm the one helping him navigate AI in his work, and not just as a gimmick, but as a real shift in how we build and make decisions. And what's interesting is that it's not like a role reversal so much. It's more of a partnership, as at least that's how I
Hmm.
see it. So my dad still mentors me on all of the things that actually matter long term, and I help him with the things that kind of change every 6 months. Like that's how I see the difference.
Yeah, and I'm sure you with OpenAI as well, and really at the cusp of a lot of these fast developments and even organizational changes. Um, so how often do you actually talk to your dad about just the organizational structure and people aspect of things apart from all the technology developments?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, honestly, not very much because I think it matters less. How the company changes. I think it's kind of inevitable that the company changes frequently because we're constantly changing direction. Technology is constantly evolving. People are constantly changing their direction and belief in how they want to approach and work on different problems. So I think the more an interesting thing to talk about is how is this technology that we have available right now and the technology that's going to be
Mm,
available in like a week from now, how is it going to change the way we work? And that's kind of like the focus of our conversation.
yeah. And I'd like to just pose the following question to, I think the group as a whole. So a lot of the time as mentors, especially if we mentor in an extreme shift like this, we don't feel like we have the same knowledge or we at the same level of expertise that the mentees may be at. So how do you mentor people where there's this gap in knowledge about fast changing in technology environments like this? And how does it help you also see the world in a different perspective and enable them as well to become stronger leaders in their fields?
I think it comes back to what I said before, that the fundamentals don't actually change. So it's instilling the values, and there's a narrative that the new generation maybe aren't don't have the same work ethic as maybe the boomers. I'm a boomer, but the new generation, the millennials and the Gen Z, don't have the same work ethic. I don't think that's the case at all. I think the way of work is different now. But I've always instilled in my children and also my mentees that you have to kind of push the boundaries, um, put the effort in, and if you put effort in and invest in yourself, that is the best investment ever. And I think this is constant regardless of what's happening in transformation. If you take on the tougher projects, if you volunteer, put your hand up more often, say yes more often than say no. Ultimately, you will benefit yourself from that. And I don't think that message is getting out there enough with the younger generation. There's a narrative that, do the minimum, do the minimum you can get away with. Don't take your job seriously, and that is a narrative that I see on social media quite a lot. And I've said the opposite to my mentees and my children as well.
Kelsey, you seem like you have something to add.
No, I was just agreeing. I think especially in our generation, because we have, AI tools and, AI coding assistants, a lot of people don't take their job as seriously as they should be. And even with these AI tools, that doesn't mean you can just put everything, you know, into your code base that was given to you. I think there's still so much value in just knowing the basics. And that is super important, especially when it comes to debugging. I've learned it's super important just going back to those fundamental computer science skills. And again, this is something that you have to like learn and constantly, develop and upskill your skills. So even though we do have these tools, we still need to keep our brains working.
We're in
Sorry.
a world
Amazing.
where we have too much information and there's a lot of excuses not to think. And you can come up with as many as you want, but I'm a strong proponent of like building mental models, systems thinking, and you should my advice to all of my mentees and like my direct reports, like you should be able to think on your own and solve the problem on your own, and you can't parrot like what ChatGPT told you or some other person in the organization. You have to validate it and build your own mental model and make sure that it's sound. And I see this with my directs. I was telling them today, like they're like, oh, this thing happened, this thing, this thing, this thing. And I was like, but what's the problem we're trying to solve? And no one can answer the question. And so it's like you have to be able to build the skill set to derive what the problem is, come up with a strategy, and then execute on it.
Yeah, totally agree. Also, I think another thing I want to like remind everyone is with AI, we always need to put a human in the loop. I know this word is a kind of AI kind of term too, but I'm talking about when you use AI, AI can provide information, but like a human, especially mentor, provide the context and the empathy. So, which means like AI can give you answer and AI can tell you which is wrong or right or wrong, but we have to have this system thinking and also have this human to human communication to catch some gaps. Like for junior data scientists or team member, if you just tell them it's wrong, it's very discouraging. But like as mentor, you can tell them what you can do better. So it's like a human communication. You know the knowledge and you know like what is right or wrong, but this human in the loop just give this conversation moving forward more smoothly and let the junior team member accept the recommendation and suggestion easier.
Yeah, and just adding, I think, onto that with stress testing the assumptions is so key because this AI will keep on telling you how wonderful you are and that you are on the right path, right? So part of a mentor's job is to help you challenge assumptions, right? So how has that helped you develop that skill to more critically view what the AI gives you?
Yeah, I can hop in on this. I think I think the biggest skill I've learned is just being able to keep those technical skills. I think that helps me understand what the AI is giving me. So I'm able to review it and edit it, use parts of it. And then I think a huge thing is also knowing how to use the AI tools correctly, asking it questions. If there's a part of, the code it returns that I'm unsure about, questioning it. So it's not like it's a bad tool. Of course it's not, but we have to know how to use it and use it responsibly. And this kind of goes back to the whole, topic of, vibe coding. and learning how to work together. You shouldn't rely on AI. AI can't rely 100% on you, because even if you ask it something, are you asking it correctly? Are you giving it context? So it's kind of a relationship in itself where you're asking it things, it's returning things, you're asking questions back, things are getting refined. And that's kind of how you can get the best result or best product.
Adding on to what Kelsey said, I'd say in the technical aspects, I think, yes, if I had some questions, I could talk to any of the tools and get information. But I think similar to what Alyssa mentioned, I think a lot of systems thinking and a lot of her experience. Like I remember we were discussing some things around build versus buy, etc. And a lot of like what she said in terms of her experience and how they made that decision in the past and all of the nuances involved. I think a lot of that helped. Also, the people aspect around, yes, I might be able to share a situation, etc., and get the perspective from any of the AI tools. But I think the human element, I think a lot of times I rely on Alyssa for, hey, so what is your perspective on this? Because she would have seen a lot more than I have and have a better read in terms of the situation and what might be happening. So I think going back to what I said earlier, I think the AI tools would give me lots of solutions, but I think talking to someone who's been there, done that, I don't think it's able to replicate that kind of experience to be able to figure out what's the right thing to do at this point in time, given my situation.
I think, like everyone has mentioned already, one of the best things that a mentor does is challenge your assumptions. Not in like a gotcha way, but in a, like let's pressure test this thing together way. And that's kind of the same exact muscle that I think is really useful when you're using AI. Because AI, as we know, can sometimes very confidently be wrong about something. And when my dad mentored me, like asking questions like, what are your assumptions and what would have to be true for this to be the case, or what's the downside if you're wrong about this, helps you kind of think about the costs of evaluating a decision. And it's also trained me to treat AI output as more of a starting hypothesis than like a final answer. So I think that, like approach to mentorship has actually affected how I use AI responsibly.
I'm going to ask the mentors now as well. Are any of you also using, when you're looking at driving these soft skills together with the mentees, using different AI tools and how to expand the mindset and thinking, and also ethically to look at how not to build bias into some of those discoveries?
A little bit, not that much. But sometimes when I'm approaching a difficult conversation, I might just go into ChatGPT and ask it, how would you approach this situation? And actually, quite often it comes up with things that I wouldn't have thought of. But often it comes up with things that blatantly I wouldn't agree would be appropriate for that conversation. So I think one of the key skills here, and I think it's been mentioned before, is judgment. Is don't use the output blindly. It may give me an idea that I haven't thought of, and a couple of times I'll do that. If it gives me 10 points, probably there'll be a couple of insights there that are valuable for the conversation. There'd be four or five that if I tried to use them would it'd be completely inappropriate to use. So it's having that judgment which comes from experience that you can't replace.
I'm an avid reader, and it's very interesting because I've gotten told over like the past 10 years, I've had a lot of people give me their opinion that reading is dead and we should just
No,
listen
it's
to
not.
podcasts at 2x speed. And I think it's an interesting parallel to what we're seeing with AI because, like, okay, yes, you can get the answer faster, but there's something to be said about consuming a book thoughtfully, interacting with it, processing it. And then one thing that I like to do is I like to experience things firsthand and then read a book about the concept. And that really like solidifies and locks it in for me. And then in terms of people skill, I love to read various books with like different frameworks. So everyone loves, like Never Split the Difference. Um, I've been consuming a lot of different things about organizational structure and things like that. And a friend of mine who's a staff engineer at Slack, we built a little chat bot and We set the whole thing up with AI. It took like 10 minutes. And then we worked on the prompt the whole time. And we had it analyze text and we had it apply all the frameworks from the books that I had read. And then we had it give responses, analyze it, and determine like which three frameworks would you prefer to use and tell us why. And it like spits it out. And so it's almost like an interactive model, and you can pick and choose which parts of the frameworks you want to use. And that's my favorite application of it. But I've already done all this work to like learn and synthesize information.
I think use AI responsibly. I would say like I usually go to the IBM use Copilot. So go to Copilot and ask for like some opinion. But I can tell it's not a system thinking. It's may coming from like different article and maybe popular answer. I need to give like context and use my own judgment to see like this is relevant, that one is not. So this is like a new concept I see somewhere the other day is like the prompt engineering for life. So all of us need to do this. So I think AI has a lot of knowledge, but it's not fit you like personally. So you have to learn how to like communicate with AI. But I agree with Lafitte is not don't trust that and always questioning and don't like ask the question, what's the assumption you got this answer? Usually maybe they just make up assumption of the answer, but as a human we need to have like a gain experience from like doing and learning from colleagues, from books. So I totally agree with Elisa. So we should keep like thinking like we use AI as a tool, not just like let AI to lead us. We just follow what AI told us to do. So that's I want everybody to keep in mind. So use AI smartly and be the master of the AI tools.
Yeah. Obviously, in this fast-paced world, there's a lot of fears around AI as well. There's a lot of ethical questions in some cases. There's a lot of potential bias. I know especially it's one thing about the models are not diverse enough. And there's also a lot of talk about job displacement. I think you can't, every single day we just hear supposedly how AI is going to take away your jobs. Now, is that a lot of truth? I mean, what about AI is inspiring you? What about it is making you fearful? And how do you address those fears and this mentoring relationship enable you to navigate through those fears?
So it's a question that's coming up with all my mentees is that what does it mean for their careers and their jobs? And it's a great question, very hard to answer because I don't think any of us really know. And even some of the leaders in AI, they've been quoted as not knowing how to advise their own children about what to do next. So it's difficult for us as mentors as well to give advice. So I can just kind of go back to what I said before about the values and the ability to learn and adapt now even more than ever. I think overall I'm an optimist. So for me, I think it's the most exciting time to be a young person today because you can do so much more with the tools and they can really extend your capability. And it's really what you do with that opportunity. So for me, I'm an optimist. I think it will generate more jobs than will disappear if you know how to navigate it and use the tools. But you can't put your head in the sand. You have to fully embrace what's happening.
Yeah, and I think something Latif said earlier stood out to me, which is critical thinking skills are so important. And while, AI can be used to replace a lot of things, the reason why I don't think it's going to, completely diminish jobs is we still need people that know how to critical think. I think probably the biggest difference is the skills that you need to learn. I think the best skill to learn is just being a fast learner and just being really adaptable.
Mhm.
I think once upon a time ago, you need to know, data structures and algorithms and all these technical things. And while you should know them, I think the more important skill is knowing that the new norm is constant change and being able to learn quickly, learn how to implement something fast and understand it and be adaptable. I think that is kind of the skill that people need to have or start learning. So, I don't think it's kind of like fear. It's more like we just need to adjust, adjust our strategy on what we know.
Yeah, I want to echo back on what Kelsey said about like vibe coding and the junior, like entry level employee. They have the fear like their job will like replaced by AI. I think we can think this in the two aspect. We need to admit that code assistant really do good job to come up with snippet, like the small method to tell you like finish very concrete question, but it's not reached the point it can build a system fit your requirement. So that's the skill we need to build. Now we can use the AI faster to build small like classes or method, individual component, which is very mature. So like it's happened like already there 10 years ago, that that's what AI is good at. But if you ask like the new framework, I noticed that AI is making up because the data is not trained well with the new technology, the framework. Maybe there are no such like digital material for AI model to learn. So that's how we need to keep up and use the advantage of the AI has the mature knowledge trained, but build our like our architecture thinking and the system thinking, problem solving, and also combining the prompt engineering too. So I think the knowledge is kind of cheap, but the question is the hard part. How to ask the right question is the skill for all of us, especially AI is there, but only the person who asks the right question get the answer.
Yeah, no, I do like that because it reminds me of Professor Clay Christensen, who's written the book, The DNA of an Innovator. The first key skill is ability to ask critical questions, which comes back to mindset of what we've spoken about, and then how to look at the power of association. For that, you need different perspectives, which means you need to network, and now you networking and brainstorming with a robotic thinking partner apart from people as well. So, but just coming back, and I know we've got about maybe 14 minutes left. There may be, and again, I just want to, for the audience, if you have any questions, please feel free to just punch it in chat, and we'll also try and address it as you are as we go along. But from a audience perspective, where there may be people who would like to become mentors, what is it that you as a mentor like to see in mentees? And I'll ask the mentors first.
It's a really good question because I've not really thought about that before because I try and make myself available to anyone that needs a mentor. And I know that sounds wrong, but because it takes a lot of time up, but I have made myself available in multiple channels and when people come forward, I rarely turn them down. So I normally offer them one or two conversations at least, see if we can work together and I can help them. So I don't really select the mentees at all. I just talk to them. If I feel I can help them, I will try and help them. But I suppose if I did have to select, I'd want somebody that I could learn from as well. Being selfish about it, and if I feel they're working area that I'm interested in, that would definitely be a benefit for me because I can learn from them as well. And if they're quite different to me, that's also an opportunity to learn as well.
Thank you.
I really like to find people who are willing to try new things. So when you're a mentor, you're meeting this person and you don't see their code. Maybe you do, but not very much of it. You don't know the company that they work at necessarily. You don't know if they're a reliable narrator or not. You don't understand the organizational politics, and you don't know their standing in the org. So we're basically trying to reverse engineer that person's situation just by talking with them. And one of the best ways to figure out what's going on and to see how you can help is if you propose, like, oh, why don't you try this thing? Tell me what happens. And then you get feedback and you can iterate. And if the person is not willing to try those things and report back, it makes it much harder to help them.
Yeah, I like Alisa's answer. I think another thing similar is I like to see the mentee to be very open to new ideas and to be open to share their like feelings, fears, any concerns. That's how the mentee can like realize what area we can help. If we cannot help, we can find the right person to help you. So be open is the key to like to get the right mentor and get help quick. I think that's I have mentors too, so I would try to be like open and show my vulnerability to them. Say this area I really don't know how to do that. I'm struggling. So that's the time you get help, and be open and be like positive. You definitely get some benefit from this relationship.
Thank you. And now I want to do the reverse of that for the mentees as well. So there might be people who in the audience who's looking for the mentees or mentees who's looking for mentors. So as a mentee, what are the key traits that you are looking in a mentor? What would make that mentor great?
I could do it first. And I think this is something I definitely see in Alyssa. I think it's more like I'm going to spend so much time with this person, share more about like what I'm working on or who I aspire to be. And so in that context, I'd want to work with someone who I would aspire to be more like in terms of their value systems, things that they do, career trajectory, and just who they are as a person.
Similar answer. Someone who I would inspire to be, or someone that I look up to. And I definitely look up to Chloe. I think she's had a very distinguished career. And one thing I love about her is she's always trying to grow and learn, and even like learn from, our team and experiences. And I think that's awesome. I think another characteristic I also look for is someone who is supportive. Um, I think that's super important. Someone that supports you and wants the best for you and your journey. A lot of people can just give, generic advice, but having a mentor that really understands you as a person, understands your goals and where you want to be in life, and having them support you and be there for you is something that's really incredible.
For me, a great mentor isn't just someone that has experience, it's someone that is really able to combine care with clarity of advice. Someone that is able to, build trust, talked about trust earlier, so you can really be honest and vulnerable with them. I think someone that has strong taste for what good looks like for you specifically. And they're also willing to challenge you in a way that's constructive. And in my experience, the best mentors have done two things really well. One is to raise my standards for myself and success, my success, and the second is to raise my confidence and like being like bold enough to take on more difficult challenges. And that's because like good mentors don't give answers. They kind of teach you how to think and how to recover from setbacks and how to make good decisions even under very ambiguous circumstances. Yeah, that's my take.
Thank you for that. I have one more question before we open to general Q&A and ask Natalie if there was any other questions that came up. But I mean, given everything AI can do now, there's coaching apps, there's career advisors, there's tools. I mean, a lot of people use it as they psychotherapists or other therapy sessions. If you had to make the case for why human mentoring still happens, what would that be on why you believe in-person mentoring is still outpacing anything that AI can come up with?
I think just let everybody know, I think me and Kelsey, not in the same office, but kind of close enough. Occasionally we can meet in person. I really like the in-person communication. We can start with some small talks. Kelsey is very good at finding restaurants with us. So that's the kind of small talk make person feel closer. And not only talking about work, about career, about how to grow, how to improve. So you don't have this pressure to show the best to your mentee or mentor. So you have just a regular person talking to each other. That's something I think in person mentorship is very special. I really enjoying that. But I think on the other side, if we don't have this opportunity to have the in-person kind of communication, we can do more sharing, not only talking about the problem, the solution, talk about your life, your passion, your habit. So you will know each other and you find a lot of in common. That's build the foundation of the mentorship. It's very important. I answer your question the two-way, but I just realized sometimes this in-person communication is impossible. But I really enjoy that.
I'd like to add to it and say that the ability to feel seen and to be encouraged, I think as much as an AI tool would try to encourage me, I think it's different when it's like a human and when you feel seen. I remember after a formal mentorship program, I think Alyssa gave me a card which said, "You are a badass." And nobody had called me a badass until then. And I was so excited. And I think it's something I still remember. And it really helped me build my confidence and something I go back to.
Yeah, I think that, it's AI is always available, right? And you can always message it. Maybe it's 3 a.m. and you can't sleep and it makes you feel better. But there's something about the fact that human beings are not always available, but they're choosing to meet with you that is actually more impactful. And like what Annika said, there's something to be said when another person has a higher expectation for you or has the confidence that you will become something because we can't control what happens over time, right? But we're heavily influenced by the people we interact with. And if someone believes in you, it can change your whole life. And I feel like I can see the potential in all things that Annika does. And I feel like her expectation back to me also pushes me to be better. And I've had so many mentors in my life where I didn't believe in myself in that moment or I was too scared, but they believed in me. And because they did, I continued to pursue things that scared me. And I don't think that a machine can do that.
I'd agree with that. I think I mean, the AI sounds like it's a human. It sounds like it cares about you. It sounds like it's supporting what you want to do. But it's a machine. It's software. It's not a real person. There's something very different about a person who cares about you. That a machine is not going to get there. Maybe not in our lifetimes. It won't actually get there. So it's that caring and trust that is missing, I think. And this is where the human relationship surpasses AI.
Yeah. And I think that's so important. There is a question from the audience, questions to mentors. Have you used AI to help guide your mentees about the challenges they are facing, whether it's difficult conversations, whether it's specific changes in the organization?
So I think this came up before, and I answered it
Yeah.
before briefly. So I have actually used those frameworks for certain things, and definitely advise the mentees to use AI tools. So even if they're looking for a job or helping with their CV, I do advise them on how to make use of tools to help tailor their CV for the application, help generate questions and practice interviews. So definitely using the tool sets. I advise them to use those, and I research AI tools in order to help mentees use the right tools for the situation. But in terms of a conversation, I will use AI now as a guide because there may be something new that I don't know about, especially if it's an area that I'm not that familiar with. But then I will apply my judgment to the answer before I use it.
Thank you.
I think Annika knows I'm always giving 3 to 5 book recs when we meet.
Yeah.
So I tend to pull from my personal experience and books that I've read rather than using AI.
So listen, I need the same book recommendations. So I think we might be connected on LinkedIn now. So you must send me book recommendations because I'm always looking for reading material as well.
Okay, you'll have like a 10-year queue
Yeah. No,
when
no,
I
it's
get
fine.
done.
It's fine. I don't have a lot of time these days, but I try and do a book a month at least. And sometimes I even do a paper book, sometimes a physical one, as
Nice.
opposed to doing an ebook.
Awesome. Well, I will send you lots of recommendations.
Definitely, definitely.
Well, I just want to say thank you so much, everyone, for this conversation. It always inspires me when I speak to mentors and mentees, because at the end of the day, it's here how to help people navigate turbulent waters, how to build very strong human connections, how to be humane in the conversations that we're having, and how we can add really value and lead with purpose as well, because I'm sure some of you would are looking at becoming strong leaders in your own respective areas away, and some of you will becoming very successful entrepreneurs. So I'm looking forward to following the progression. But again, thank you to the panel. Thank you to the Mentoring Club on this Lead Forward panel session that we've had. And I think the final proof is that at the end of the day, in this fast-paced world, the most powerful thing we have is that human connection and being the human in the loop, as you say, Chloe.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Maria. Thank you for hosting this session. I learned a lot. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you everyone for that insightful discussion. So I don't see any question. One question already answered in the Q&A section here. So before we wrap up, I would like to extend a heartfelt thank you to our generous panelists, Daniel, Mirza, Kelsey, Anaga, Latif, Chloe, Alisa, and our panel moderator, Maria. Your insights have truly made this session valuable, and you have given us the reason to pause for reflections. We appreciate the time and effort you have dedicated to sharing your knowledge with us today. Let's all give a virtual round of applause to our panel speakers and moderators. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
And going to the few slides next here. So we value your feedback, complete the session surveys to help us improve and continue delivering the impactful events. As a thank you, you will receive 1 month of free mentee subscription to the mentoring club for every session survey completed. For an example, if 6 completed surveys is equal to 6 months free, a discount code will be sent to you a few days after that event. You can use it for yourself or gift it. And plus, the first 10 responders will receive exclusive giveaways, including the mentoring club t-shirts, luggage tags, and caps. As supplies last, shipping limitations may apply to Oceania, Africa, and Asia due to higher costs. Thank you for helping us make a difference. And here, loving today's session. So take the next step, become a mentor or a mentee, scan the QR code to join the mentoring club and make a lasting impact. So ready to dive deeper into leadership development? Join our premium workshops for in-depth multi-session learning experiences over the coming months. These workshops build on the Summit's workshops insight and are designed to help you grow as a leader. Scan the QR code to learn more. When you sign up today, you will get a 25% discount using the promo code is on the screen is LFS 2026 and WKP. And get the VIP pass for on-demand access to all the event recordings after the summit. It's a perfect for rewatching your favorite sessions or catching the ones you missed. We are offering the VIP pass for $13 for 13 sessions. To celebrate our 10th year anniversary with you, we are extending a 10% discount when you subscribe to the VIP pass today. Just simply scan the QR code. And please join us for the next session, Networking, Career Catalyst, Express Excellence, and Open Forum. In the meantime, chat has been enabled. Feel free to connect with fellow attendees, share your thoughts, and engage with one another in the chat. This is fantastic opportunity to expand your network and exchange ideas with like-minded individuals from around the world. In just a moment, we will play a special video introduction about the Mentoring Club TMC. This video will provide with you a deeper understanding of TMC's vision, mission, core values, and insights from our mentees, mentors, volunteers, donors, and supporters. I will remain here as your host, so if you have any questions, needed assistance, don't hesitate to reach out. Let's make the most of this time to connect and learn more about purposeful work TMC is doing.
Thank you, everyone.
Let's look at the top 10 skills leaders will need to do well in the AI-powered future, the very near future. Note that many of these qualities are skills leaders already need to master to be effective with their followers. From that vantage, part of what you must consider is which tasks you can delegate to AI while refining your skills that require human wisdom and contact. The top skill is communication. Leaders must continue to focus on the basic skills involving relating to others. Continue considering the attributes of your leadership, all of which center around better communication, collaboration, negotiation, facilitation, social influence, and active listening, for example. The second most important skill is a growth mindset. With or without AI, change creates massive opportunities. To see them, you must cultivate your growth mindset, which includes curiosity, lifelong learning, and the ability to unlearn so you stop doing things that no longer serve your mission. Number 3 is adaptiveness. Use what you learn through that growth mindset to enhance your ability to anticipate change and proactively launch initiatives. Adaptiveness, resilience, and business agility are key to this. Number 4 is emotional intelligence. Because you'll be asking your teams to make changes which can feel unfamiliar and uncomfortable, you must amplify your emotional intelligence, also known as EQ. Building your EQ involves self-awareness, self-management, relationship awareness, empathy, trust, and psychological safety. Number 5, an abundance mindset. It's easy to fall into fear in uncertain times. That's the result of a scarcity mindset, the feeling that there's only so much good to go around. But an abundance mindset says there's plenty, that we collectively have the knowledge, wisdom, resources, skills, and attitudes to meet challenges. That allows you to reframe uncomfortable situations into opportunities. 6th is domain expertise. Stay on top of your specialized knowledge. Excel in your areas of domain expertise and keep abreast of technological advances in those areas. That always helps you guide your teams, and it helps spot potential errors in AI results. 7th is AI skills. Remember what I said about communication back there in the number 1 slot? To leverage AI successfully, you must know what questions to ask AI and how to ask them. Otherwise, you may get inaccurate results. The better you are at asking the right questions, the better my AI family will be at providing useful information for you. Coupled with that is number 8, analytical skills. Call it hypercritical thinking if you'd like. Analytical skills, problem-solving skills, systems thinking, 360-degree thinking. It will all help you leverage your human knowledge and my AI-generated information. The number 9 needed leadership trait for the AI future is creativity. Humans are still the best at innovating, at looking at disparate, unrelated data and seeing something new in it. There is some data we AI won't consider, or solutions that won't occur to us. If you rely solely on AI, there are solutions that will never come up on your radar. So create and experiment. Finally, there's number 10, risk awareness. Understand the risks AI presents, then continually evolve governance processes to address these risks. If you have questions about innovative leadership or how we can help you become an innovative leader, please browse our available services or contact us at inquiries@innovativeleadership.com.
Hi, I am Manju Abraham, and I am a leader. I know that people matter more than metrics. I have led large, complex transformations across organizations as a VP of engineering at companies like Hewlett-Packard Enterprise and Delphix. Very early on, as an architect and manager itself, I learned that results follow when people understand the purpose, feel respected and valued, and know that they belong. Trust is key. Leadership is not about driving numbers first. It is about creating clarity, explaining the why, and setting direction. We have to define goals and measures of success and give them the chance to own it. Metrics do matter, but they are indicators, not the mission. When results fall short, it is rarely a motivation problem. It's usually a resource or a process issue asking to be addressed. That is where leadership matters most. Remove friction so people can take ownership, move with confidence, and do their best. That is how I lead forward confidently.
In 1998, an epiphany led me to the goal of transitioning my career from the Philippines to Silicon Valley. 2 years later, I met with people in the Valley to find a job. The dot-com bubble was bursting. I didn't get a job, but I met over 150 people. In 2002, 3 of my contacts hired me. I joined their internet consulting company. 8 years later, I became Chief Operating Officer and part owner, then exited in 2020 to focus on the Mentoring Club, my give back passion project. The Mentoring Club connects working people to accomplished leaders for leadership development mentoring. With a growing community of hundreds of mentors, mentees, volunteers, donors, and partners globally, we are changing the world one leader at a time.
What is my vision for the Mentoring Club? When I started the Mentoring Club in 2016, I declared that our mission is to provide a mentoring community for young leaders. When we launched, not only young leaders signed up, mid-career people and advanced career people signed up. And so we evolved our mission to provide a mentoring community for aspiring and seasoned leaders, where seasoned leaders refer to both the mentors and the mentees. Today, anywhere in the world, we help working people find mentors who can guide them to develop the skills they need to achieve their career and life goals. We help mentees fulfill their goals through meaningful work that creates positive impact in the world. We believe that when we're doing meaningful work, that's when the leaders in us come out, because we care about the results. And when we care about the results, then that is how we can make a positive impact in the world. Ultimately, my vision is that as mentees become successful leaders, my dream is for them to become mentors to others. And that's how the cycle of giving back can continue, hopefully without end, hopefully even long after I'm gone. One of the ways we attract people into the Mentoring Club is to share our leadership core values. Our anchor values are trust, leadership, and community. Under trust, we believe that integrity, honesty, and commitment are what make us trustworthy as individuals and professionals. Under leadership, we believe that health, vision, and execution are all needed to be successful leaders. One without the others pretty much leads to nothing. We have to have all of them. And it is understandable that not all of us will be great at both visioning and execution. So if you're great at visioning, find somebody to help you execute. And if you're great at execution, find somebody whose vision you can support and help execute. That way, both of you can become successful leaders. And the last anchor value, community. Under community, we believe that humanity, contentment, family are the social grounding forces that make us feel fulfilled and happy. At the end of the day, even though we're successful as leaders, if we don't have anybody to share that success with, then it will be a lonely success. And so we encourage everybody to think about their values. And if those values align with ours, then this may be just the right community to be a part of.
What is the mystery to life? It's fulfillment. feelings come and go. Values kind of get you through the pain. They get you through the good times. They get you through a lot of things, but they are a higher level of consciousness and meaning.
Hi, my name is Steve Rivera Rodriguez. I'm a mentee in the Mentoring Club. My value is vision. For me, vision is an intense desire to see something being accomplished. It is an intrinsic motivation to keep working towards a new reality. We can call it having a dream, something that lives within you.
What can you say were the most important skills that you right away translated to success in the workplace for you?
Yeah, so I was having a lot of problems making conversation.
Okay.
I would go to work, get my tasks, do them, and go home and repeat. And I was having a lot of problems communicating things that I wanted, things I didn't want, career growth, expansion. And I got a lot of guidance going into softening the conversation, really growing the conversation into how I really want for myself.
It seems like it was really life-changing for you I mean, seek a new set of eyes, someone who you don't work with directly to sort of give you guidance, someone with a lot of wisdom.
Yeah.
Hello, my name is Angela Pedregal, and I'm a volunteer with the Mentoring Club. One of the core values that are very important to me are support systems. Support systems can consist of your family, your friends, your acquaintances, your mentors, because you want to lean on them when things get tough, when things get challenging, when you question yourself, when you just want to get advice, or you just want someone to talk to, especially nowadays when things can get very challenging. So it's important to have those people that can keep you grounded and continue to inspire you to move forward. So I'm very grateful for the Mentoring Club, which serves as a very strong support system for me. So thank you, everyone.